Hello and welcome to Levant TV headlines. Coalition and Iraqi planes struck a sprawling complex of palaces in the city of Tikrit, where Islamic State militants have been holding out for more than 3 weeks. Saudi warplanes have bombed Houthi rebels in Yemen, launching a military intervention by a 10-nation coalition to prevent the fall of embattled President Abu Rabu Mansour Hadi. Tunisia's Interior Minister, Najem Gharsali, says 23 suspects have been arrested in connection with last week's jihadist massacre at the Bardo Museum. Nuclear negotiations between the United States and Iran have entered a critical phase, with US Secretary of State John Kerry meeting his Iranian counterpart Mohammad Javad Zarif just days away from an end-of-month deadline. And Turkish police say a bomb explosion outside the office of a pro-Islamic magazine in Istanbul has killed 1 person and injured 3 others. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting with the Egypt Independent, which leads reporting that Egypt has participated in the Saudi-led airstrikes against Shia Houthi militias in Yemen with its naval and air forces. The paper also reports that Sohag prosecution has referred to a police colonel to trial for embezzling a stock of confiscated weapons, which had been entrusted to him in 2009. From Lebanon, the Daily Star leads, reporting that Free Patriotic Movement leader Michel Aoun says he has the ability to persuade the various political leaders to accept him as a consensus presidential candidate. The paper also reports that former Prime Minister Said Hariri and Progressive Socialist Party leader offered their support to Saudi Arabia's military actions against Houthi rebels in Yemen. From the UAE, the Khalij Times leads, reporting that Yemeni President Abu Rabu Mansour Hadi fled the country on a boat from Aden as rebels and their allies advanced on the southern part of the city. The paper also reports that an unconvinced President Barack Obama said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's efforts to clarify pre-election statements rejecting creation of a Palestinian state still do not appear to advance the prospect of a two-state solution to Mid-East peace. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from the UK papers. The Guardian leads its Middle East news, reporting that the US has confirmed its support for an extraordinary international military alliance that is emerging to counter Houthi rebel advances in Yemen. As Saudi Arabia began pounding the rebels with airstrikes, countries from the Middle East to Pakistan were said to be prepared to commit troops for a ground assault. The Telegraph leads its Middle East news, reporting that Benjamin Netanyahu was officially asked to form Israel's next government on Wednesday, but Arab citizens have not forgotten how the Prime Minister turned upon them in order to win votes last week. Netanyahu did not meet a single politician from the Joint List, an alliance of 4 Arab majority parties which took 13 seats in the Knesset, or parliament. The Independent leads its Middle East news, reporting that Amnesty International has published a damning report on Hamas's conduct during last summer's Gaza war, accusing it and other Palestinian armed groups of committing war crimes by firing rockets and mortars into Israel. The report, released today, is the first by the human rights group to target Hamas after a series of publications accusing Israel of waging attacks that constituted war crimes. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines in the international papers. The Deutsche Welle reports that talks have resumed over Iran's nuclear program as a deadline for a draft agreement draws closer. US Secretary of State John Kerry is expected to urge Iran to agree to the draft framework due by Tuesday in exchange for international sanctions being eased against the state, with a State Department official traveling with Kerry saying the US was cautiously optimistic about a deal. And finally, the Los Angeles Times leads, reporting that US warplanes have begun conducting airstrikes in Tikrit after the Iraqi government requested assistance with a stalled offensive to retake the militant-held city. And for more updates, please visit Levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.